What's going on, everyone? What's going on? What's going on? How's everyone doing? Humble Lion, PJ said lifestyle. I am laughter. G5 Princess. What's going on, everyone? Please go ahead and tap that like icon on your page, on your Instagram page, and share it to your friends. And let's talk about these things. Let's see.
Let's talk about these things.
I just want to make sure the audio is good. What's going on, babe?
Nothing much. What's going on?
We're back here.
Yes, so as usual.
Mm-hmm. We're back here. All right.
How was your week?
My week was beautiful. Mm-hmm. My week was awesome. How about yours?
Mine was eventful.
Really? Tell us more.
I went to take my second vaccine on Wednesday.
Yay.
And
unfair. Since I haven't gotten not even one. You're taking your second one.
I'm taking my second one because I am ready to resume life. I am ready to go out and have a good time. I'm ready to get back to socializing, to doing normal things. Summer is coming. So I hustled for that vaccine. I'm not lying to you. But
wow.
When I got home, I felt good. Just like when I took the first one.
You felt good.
Yeah, I felt like I'm good because the first time I didn't have any reaction to the shot. Mm-hmm. I had a soreness in my arm, but the second time that on Wednesday when I went to get it, I was good for the first day. But the second day I woke up, I was so weak, and I felt like
you were rolling overnight too multiple times.
I had like a slight headache. You were not comfortable. Yeah, overnight I had a slight headache.
You said you had headache behind your
like right here,
head.
Behind my head. I remember you touching me, and I'm like, I have an headache right behind my head. And you're like, babe, it's just an headache. I'm like, no, this one is kind of different. It felt weird.
I didn't say just an headache. That's what you heard?
Yeah, that's what I thought I heard.
That's a headache? Mm-hmm. I knew clearly that there's a possibility that you could have a headache.
I mean, they warned us about it.
Yeah.
And then the next day, I woke up.
But it was kind of surprising to me that you said just behind the head. That's the part I was
because it felt like a migraine. Mm-hmm. When you feel headache, but you feel it in one particular side.
Right.
That's what I felt. Like one side of my head was feeling some type of way. And then the next day, I felt like I was about to have fever, but I didn't have fever. I just felt so weak.
It was weird.
It was weird. It was such a weird feeling.
Yeah.
But we thank God. I'm back today.
Yep.
I feel great. I feel like myself again, so.
All right, good. So the topic we're talking about today, this is, by the way, 23rd episode of Marriage Issues. Just in case you don't know, we do try to come here at 2 p.m. on Saturdays, 2 p.m. New York time.
Right.
And 7 p.m. Niger time and UK time, summertime or springtime, whatever you want to call the season. And we just come here and just talk and just, rub minds together on this marriage issues. The truth of the matter is that a lot of people are struggling out there, and some people have not been able to, they're not privileged to have a comeback. Mm-hmm. Like us, there's a lot of people
it spirals down and just
that it just kills the marriage, and it's not because people are bad people. It has nothing to do with with what they are, if they are correct, if they are wrong, if they are right. It has nothing to do with that. There's just some things that we need to keep learning about how we operate as human beings, regardless if we're talking about in the 1950s and the 70s or the 2020s. There's some things that's just what we are. But that can be confusing because we're also in an era where things are quite different because of technology, social media, like the environment changes and evolve, but at the very core of who we are, we're just the same.
Right.
So
we have to keep learning how to cope with these environmental factors that can affect our marriage.
Yes.
Right.
And not make them the issue. It's very easy to blame social media and the phones and the fact that she's more enlightened You can blame all those things for the demise of your relationship. But honestly, you can't really blame those things. You will just suffer if you continue to blame those things.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, one of our basic human needs is love and connection. We still want that, regardless of what generation we live in.
Yeah.
And so today we're talking about 1 out of every 5 couples have a sexless marriage. Why?
Wow.
Right. So we do have a video coming up on the channels this week on 17 signs to walk away from a sexless marriage. You didn't see that coming, did you? Yeah. She wrote it, but she didn't realize that she gave 17 signs in it.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah. So, but these are 17 signs, so you should look forward to that. We talked about that, but there's a point that you made in it that was quite interesting that I thought everyone should hear, which is like, hey, listen, if you're not having sex once every month, you said, right? Which is what? How many? 1 out of 5 people, right?
Out of
5 people are not having sex every month, right? That's considered sexless marriage.
Yeah.
If you're not, it doesn't mean anything unless the other person
start complaining
about it. So there's no judgment, zero judgment, but you have a problem if the other person will like it to be better than that. If both of you are on the same page, boom, keep doing what you're doing. It's working.
Right.
Right. So what's your take on this, babe? Why? What is this? What is sexless marriage? You did the research. What are we looking at here?
Well, so I saw the stats that said every 1 in 5 couples are having a sexless marriage. The average couple has sex 68.5 times a year, which is hardly up
babe.
to
Tony said, if you don't know, now you know. I know, right? Like sexless marriage will actually terrible. Oh, I guess he's saying it's terrible. Go ahead, babe.
Like, which is actually like which is actually hardly once a week. So now
68.5 times per year.
A year. Yeah. So every 1 in 5 couples, that's actually a very high number right there.
68.5 times a year?
Yes.
That's like a little bit more than 1 times a
yeah,
week.
that's what it said. It's 68.5 times a year.
Okay,
which is hardly once a week.
Well, that's once a week and plus more and change.
Yeah.
Some people
are okay with that.
Some people will argue that should be fine.
And that's not the issue, like we said. It's not a bad thing. It becomes an issue when the other person is saying, I'm not getting my needs met.
Yeah.
I'm feeling like you don't love me. You don't want to have sex with me. That's when you actually have an issue. Right. Now, what makes people... Because for the most part, people will tell you, but I'm busy with work.
Right.
We're both busy with work. We're chasing money. We're hustling. We don't have time to connect.
Right.
So what pushes people in this sexless marriage position? One of them is lack of connection.
Right.
You don't have time to...
What does that mean? What does lack of
connection is when you don't even have time to bond together. For example, we go to work. You come back from work, you're exhausted. I go to my job, I'm exhausted. We're in front of the TV. Me and you, we have a couple of shows that we like to watch.
Okay.
That we actually, that's
but I don't mind touching you in interesting places while we're watching the show too.
Okay, so while we're watching the show, you're touching me. You're touching me. That's actually okay because you're actually trying to connect with me.
Yeah, that's how I distress. I'm stressed, but that's how I distress.
But if I shut you down in that moment and just I'm like, I'm tired, that will eventually become resentment. It will become an issue. Or we're both sitting at TV and you're in your phone. Maybe you're even chatting with someone else. Or I'm on my phone. I'm chatting with my friends. You could be chatting with your brother. It doesn't even have to be somebody else. But the fact that in that moment we're not emotionally connected, there's already a disconnect. Because we've been gone for more than half of the day. You would think that when we see each other, we miss each other and we just want to spend time together.
Yes.
But that's not the case because we are exhausted from life stress, from work stress.
Is that a good excuse?
It's not a good excuse, but I'm telling you what causes
you're telling us
marriage,
what could cause a
sexless marriage. Okay.
Yes.
You might feel like, but we're working and he's okay with that. He might not be okay with that, especially if he wants to connect with you.
No, you may feel like I'm okay with that, but I may not be okay with that.
Yes, because you're touching me, but because I'm extremely tired and I'm not even paying attention to how you are feeling in that moment.
Yeah.
I'm like cranky, like don't touch me. Right. It doesn't have to. When you have to, what I'm trying to say is that everything is a balance, right?
Yes.
So if you don't balance your work life, something else will get burnt.
Something will give. Yeah.
Something will give. So that's one of the issues, the lack of connection.
Okay.
Another one.
Yeah, but when you say lack of connection, I wanted to separate a few things. Lack of connection, the way you describe it, is life is happening, and because life is happening, we don't get to connect. That's the way you describe it. Some people would also explain lack of connection as, I don't know why. I just don't feel connection with him anymore or her anymore, right? So in that case, they're describing their feelings, and describing your feelings can be a good start to start solving the problem, but it's not the solution.
No, it's not the solution because something has to. You have to do a root cause analysis. You have to know what is going on. Why is this person? Because sometimes you could be spending time with someone and you're still not connected, right? So the other person might feel like emotionally detached from you. So you want to find out what's really going on, because sometimes it could be because she's not feeling heard in the relationship. Like she feels like you don't give her a chance to be involved in something, or you don't listen to her.
Okay, so now we're saying, now we're going in the right direction. So she doesn't feel heard. That means she tried to express herself, but she feels like somebody is not hearing her, or you don't understand her. You've heard. You have Nisi Nash the other day talking about. She had to go the direction of being with a woman because she feels like she sees her. Yeah,
she was connected to that woman.
That's connection right there.
That's connection right there.
Okay.
And that's and you know what is funny about that?
I hate to say that.
I hate to say that too, but this is a woman that was married to two men, and for some reason, she didn't feel safe in those relationships.
She didn't feel like those men could see her.
Yes, and she found a connection with a woman. It's the weirdest thing ever, but that happens.
Well, it is what it is. But the same thing can happen in a heterosexual relationship. Yes. You may go on to another man as a woman before you feel like someone sees you.
Yes.
And and now that's one case. You've talked about the first one, which is what was the first one you gave?
Lack of connection.
Is that the first one you gave? Oh, okay, let's dwell on that. They'll see the rest But so we're saying that lack of connection can cause sexless, can result in a sexless marriage.
Yes.
Because what is sex in the first place? Some people say the purpose of sex. This is their way of getting out of the conversation. Purpose of sex is for procreation.
Really?
Yeah, it's for procreation. So why are we complaining about sex? Is it food? Right? Yeah. You know what? If both of you agree that it is not food, that's beautiful.
You don't have a problem.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's working for you. But if one person says that, insinuates, they don't have to say it's food. They may even shy away and not want to say it like it's food, so you don't look at them like a hoe or like some kind of sex addict. But if they insinuate that this is food, meaning they insinuate that this is important. If they insinuate that either using, what do you call it, verbally or verbalessly, I don't know if that's in English, right? You have a problem.
Yes.
Because there's division. And one of the few things that separate a romantic relationship from other types of relationship is sex. And you're here telling your partner that it is not important. Keep two things in perspective there. Not only are you telling them that sex is not important, you're also telling them that their idea and how they feel and their presence in your relationship is not important. So there's a lot that goes into that. It's not just sex that you're saying is important.
Yes.
You're not listening, and by doing so, they won't feel significant.
Right.
And one of the human basic needs, we talked about love and connection as one earlier. One of the human basic needs is significance. So if a person doesn't feel, if they're in a romantic relationship with you, marriage or long-term committed relationship, whatever you want to call it, and they don't feel significant enough for you to want to hump like rabbits. If they feel that way, that's a problem.
Right.
That's when it becomes a problem. But if both of you say, well, we do once a year and it's not,
and we're good with it.
And we're good, right?
I mean, there are people that function in sexless marriages.
Right.
They are happy with where they are.
I mean, what do you mean? That's
like they've resorted
there's a lot of people from the past generation that's just what it is.
Yeah, they take care of themselves however they can, and they claim that they are happy with what they have. We cannot argue that they are not happy. Because these two people have decided that
they are okay.
This works for us.
Fact.
But if you
is
have
it weird
one,
to me and you? Yes.
Yes, it is weird. I mean, I try to really, but when you think about it, they are united, and they said no.
It's the unity that matters.
We like it this way.
Yeah.
I don't care for sex that much. Or he has a low libido. Is not that interested
and it's
in
good.
sex. He's good with.
We have a good time. We go on
do.
a cruise every other month.
We have a good time.
And we're just gonna sleep.
And we're best friends.
And just play Ludo and play PS5 and we're
content.
good.
They're contented with that. There are people like that.
Not to be fair,
that function.
I haven't met one. But
personally, I haven't met one too.
Right.
Either one is complaining and the other one is.
It's always that's the situation. Usually, you have one person that says, "Is it food?" and the other person says, They won't say it's food. They usually don't say it's food, but they are saying that in like 50 other ways. Right. It's like we're just not intimate anymore. We don't connect. We need to spice things up. You see somebody tell you they need to spice things up, you need them to come and tell you that sex is food before you realize that. They're telling you now. Some people will be the one to shy away from having sex. It's a complicated issue, right? They can shy away from having sex with you, meaning they're awkward when it's about to go down. But they be the same person. Let me speak that English. They be the same person to complain that there is no connection.
Well, some people also have self-esteem issues when it comes to. That's one of the things I found out that can cause a sexless marriage.
People are
now,
awkward.
If a man does not feel like, if he's not confident that his penis is big enough, it makes him happy.
You mean penis?
Penis.
Okay, thank
whatever,
you.
baby. I'm a Nigerian girl.
people talk
so
about
I will
penis.
always go back and forth. Hey, I gotta be myself. I'm sorry. Anyway, if it feels like, let's use dick. His dick is not.
No, don't do that on YouTube.
Why?
YouTube is a bastard.
Okay, it's private. Can I use private then?
I think you actually said penis, but
I don't want to. You know what? Let me get to the point. So
we already broke the rules by having sex in the title. Please go ahead and say what you want to say. Yeah.
If it feels like his package is not good enough, if he has no self-esteem
about his private parts,
if he's not comfortable about what he has, and he knows that I'm the shit, that will affect his performance. It will always affect.
And when we say performance, we're not talking about how many humps per second.
Right.
He can hump a person. That's not what we're talking about.
Right.
We're talking about performance starting from mental. Because how you show up is
he won't have any confidence.
Yes.
And he will always point fingers at his partner. Talking about, maybe I'm not, for example, if the wife suggests, maybe we can try this, so I'm not good enough for you. So you're not happy with my, so I don't satisfy you. It will always bring that attention back to his package.
You will and how does he do that?
By just shaming the wife.
Okay.
Shaming his
so
partner.
they don't say you're at fault. They don't do that. I like to be clear on things like that.
Right.
Because when you say what was the word you used before? When you say things like he won't feel adequate, whatever he said.
If he's not confident,
if he's not
himself,
confident, that doesn't play out as I'm not confident. It goes, that doesn't play out. It plays out usually in the form of pointing fingers. It must be something else's fault.
That's why you find them calling the wife a hoe, like a partner, because she wants to find.
But that's
her
not
way.
always the case. That's almost like a very blanket statement.
Yes, sometimes, some. I just used.
Right. That's that. Because I want us to go into why is it that one out of 5 marriages are in a sexless marriage? Why? Because that data is coming from people complaining, not people that are okay with it.
Right.
So that is still a bad number.
It is a bad number.
Right.
Actually, then when I did more research, found out that there's some men that wish that they had a bigger package.
Got you. So confidence, because also we can say the same thing about traditional women who haven't really taken the time to process and own their sexuality. They can be awkward in the bedroom.
Very, yes.
Okay. So if they're awkward in the bedroom, how that shows up is not when they say I'm awkward in the bedroom. That's not how that shows up.
No one says that.
See, I like to spell it out because
No
some people receive that as that, and the way they receive it, they will say, "What do you mean awkward in the bedroom?" Okay, here's what I mean by being awkward in the bedroom.
Right.
What I mean is somebody is not comfortable being naked in front of their own husband.
Yes.
Right. No matter how much stretch marks, and they're just not comfortable. Right. Whatever that is. Even though they mean well, even though this is just about their own personal self-esteem, that's going to directly or indirectly affect their sexual prowess, right? And their energy. It's going to affect everything because what's going to happen usually is that you're doing whatever you do to express that by not directly saying, I just don't feel safe, make me feel safe. They're not going to say that. But so a man needs to quote unquote learn how to read a mind, even though people tell you you shouldn't have to learn how to read mind. Yes, you do.
You have to use wisdom.
Okay. Yes, you do. Wisdom. Yes, you have to read between the lines. You understand that part, right? That you have to learn how to read between the lines. Okay, reading between the lines is almost synonymous to reading minds because it means you're not just taking words on face value and making that exactly what's going on. Right. That will be inaccurate. People sometimes have a hard time, including your spouse, expressing themselves verbally.
Yes.
So you need to learn beyond just verbal communication. How do you receive what somebody is trying to tell you, right? Either by being awkward in the bedroom, they need to feel safe. They need to feel... So words of affirmation, encouraging words. You look beautiful, baby.
Yes, absolutely.
You look beautiful. I didn't say I didn't look beautiful. No, I didn't say you didn't say that. I just want to make sure that you know that I know that
some people don't know how to receive compliments.
They don't even know how to receive compliments.
They're very awkward, yes.
So it becomes this vicious cycle that you're always trying to fix. So if you get tired in the middle of encouraging your spouse that, I love you the way you are, right? If you get tired or you get impatient with that, that may be too early to actually encourage them to come to the space where you need them to be. But when we talk about sex within the confinement of marriage, and we're not talking about in a strip club now, right? In a strip club, you don't know these people, so it doesn't matter. What we're talking about is within the confinement where there's complacency, where people have finish, where people already know each other, where people are just trying to live life. After all, we're married. They don't say it exactly like that, but they're acting it.
Yes.
They put their legs up and just relax, because after all, we're married. Where this kind of issues are going on, you will need to understand how to read between the lines, aka read some mind. How do you now? Is it helpful if they can tell you? Of course.
Yes.
Right. What I'm telling you is I'm guaranteeing you that most of the time people don't exactly know how to express themselves in words. Not because they don't want to express themselves in words. It's because they're also caught up in emotions as well. And
or they don't even know how you're going to receive it.
That's another one.
Too.
Maybe you've overreacted in the past, and they don't want to be in that awkward situation where you're actively arguing with them on. And then this one conversation connects with this and that and that and that. 2 hours we're arguing about, how did we start again? And then it's meaningless. See, that energy, right, that you have enough of it, people are not going to want to have sex with you.
No. The legs are going to close. I mean, even the hard one is going to go, wah, wah, wah.
No, even you as a man, you're not going to feel comfortable, So that's something that people need to pay attention to, that is that it's behind the scenes stuff that's going on. But here's one thing you can understand. one of human basic needs is security, right? So either you and I, or you or I, right, or you and me, man or woman, we need to feel secure, right? And sometimes, unfortunately, insecurity is a bastard, and it takes the best of us sometimes.
Yes.
And it will be helpful if you really love this person to also put some effort into helping them feel secure.
Yeah, I remember. Sorry, baby.
That's okay, baby.
I just wanted to infuse a story. You know me and my stories. I remember when we had Tumi. Tumi is going to be 13.
Right.
In June. When we had Tumi, and I felt so uncomfortable with the weight that I gained from. I mean, I looked up. I didn't even realize that I've gained weight that much.
And I didn't notice the gain.
You didn't notice too, because you always said, "Baby, you look beautiful, baby."
I didn't understand it.
I was so comfortable in that until one day I saw my picture, and I looked at myself again like, "What? I don't like this. I've gained so much weight. I need to lose weight." And I told my husband, "Well, you look good. I like the way you look and everything."
I honestly did not get it.
I did not like the way I look. And I had to make a step. And I don't think you even realized when I started my journey into losing that weight.
No, I didn't.
I didn't know how to lose that weight. I struggled with it. And the first thing I did was, you know what? I'm going to have to pay someone to help me lose this weight.
Right.
Because if I don't lose this weight is going to keep effing with me. You know, I don't feel good about myself. And then I went to join Jenny Craig. And within 2-3 weeks, you'll be surprised. You'll be carrying water weight for the longest time and you don't know. I shed 20 pounds.
Right.
And I felt so good about myself.
Yeah, and I didn't like that you lost some of that knockers.
But I remembered when you saw me, it was as if you didn't know what happened.
I like that you lost weight and you slimmed down,
like,
except
baby,
that one part.
You were like, "Baby, you look sexy." And I was like, "See? And you told me I look good every time." I'm honestly...
That's what I said?
Yeah,
I don't remember
you look
now.
sexy. Because guess what? The belly went flatter. Even though I lost some of my...
That's what I'm talking about. That part right there was like... That's what... And you know, I remember a little bit. I remember that, yes... I was like, I appreciated it, right?
Yes.
But I will point out that, okay, enough.
Yes.
I will say
like,
enough.
Baby, don't lose any more weight.
You're getting flat on the chest, and that's not my cup of tea.
But what am I trying to say? What I'm trying to say is that you never for one day make me feel.
Right. So
like,
that goes to tell you that it's not necessarily a fault thing, because I was never making you feel...
But I
less.
felt like
but you felt it yourself.
I didn't feel like myself. Yes. I felt like I didn't like what I saw in the picture, and I needed to do something about it.
So let's unpack that a little bit. Number one, self. Okay? Self. Looking in the mirror. Right? Looking in the mirror is some people, when I suggest that, are some people's pet peeves. They think, they would rather you blame the other person, think, place, or thing. Something else. They would rather hear that it must be something else's fault so they can fix it. Because one of the hardest things to fix is fix oneself.
Fact.
You know, confidence is what you were talking about. Self-esteem, self-confidence, self-worth.
Yes.
Is what you're talking about. If you've come to a conclusion that I have problem with self, which in my opinion is 90% of the problem in relationships, right? If you come to that conclusion, fixing self requires consistency.
Right.
Consistency is extremely hard.
It is.
You know, it requires taking responsibility without pointing finger at yourself, because pointing finger at yourself, some people don't understand the difference between the two, right? Pointing finger at yourself is guilt trip. Guilt trip will work against you because there's negative feelings that come with that.
Right.
But responsibility is, I'm okay with where I'm coming from. I'm okay with that. Let me be a better version of myself.
Yes.
It's just taking responsibility without saying, oh, it's because I was born this way and my mother did this and did that and that. While those things could be true, that attitude towards fixing oneself will work against you 100% of the time.
Right.
So that's why you will see people say, okay, let's first of all hear you. What do you think all the issues are? Okay, good. All those things are not over there. We can't control them. So what do we do with things we can't control? Well, we just ignore them. Let's figure out in all of this, what is it that we can control? The only thing you can control is on oneself. You can't even control your spouse. Because
no, you can't.
That will work against you 100% of the time, because that's a whole human being. And you just don't know. They may tell you. Right. You may say, they should be able to tell you what kind of people go into marriage without being open. Every one of us. Okay. Everyone. Just speak for yourself. Okay. Let's just wait. Okay. Right. And see. But the truth is that all of us, when we go into romantic relationship, we're not being honest. We're putting our best foot forward. Because we're in love with that person. And that's just naturally what we do. We're not deliberately trying to hurt the person. It's just that we put up a front. It is what it is.
Facts.
So now, in spite of that, how can we still have a happy life, a happy love, happy relationship, longevity? How can we do that? Is by, first of all, admitting that we are all flawed. Like when you're that perfect person, that is a flaw. You're going to find out when you get into a relationship with another person who is not perfect. Now you got a problem. Right? So once you understand that and you really come, then you say, okay, then you come to a conclusion, let me go into this relationship and give. Okay, I really like this person enough.
Don't give and take.
Not give and take.
Give without expectations.
Without expectation.
Which is very tough to do. But
it's impossible. So essentially what I'm saying is give and manage your expectations, because they're not God.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, because we have expectations, we're human beings. So we will have expectations. Naturally, we expect to be happy because this person is supposed to be God.
But I also think that we do forget that when we give effortlessly, when we give from our heart, we automatically receive.
We get from that, we
do, but we're just not patient. We think
we don't get when we give with expectations, because it's
not coming from here. It's coming because you want something.
Yes.
But if you give because
you know what, I'm just doing it for
this person, this is my loved one. I'm doing it for them just because I love them. You will receive.
So if you haven't received that expectation, your attention is on it. Your attention is like, oh wow, no wonder. You feel terrible. You feel like this person's out to hurt you. How come they're loving you and they're not giving back to you? All of this thing will start to happen in your mind, and there's one way we can conclude what all those things are. The toxic negative energy. So even if that old dynamic is given into you, you can't see it. You can't appreciate it because you're busy focused on taking. Right? So if the person falls short, that's where your focus is going to be, So at what point should you stop giving? At the point where you don't love this person enough to want to give to them. That's when you should stop giving. Then you should take your giving somewhere else, where you're open to giving to that person.
You have to be open.
But it's because of what they did. Well, again, we can go back and forth with this. Your attention on give and take will destroy sex life. You will be keeping scores. Okay? But if you give that person freedom, if you make it your life mission and say, I found somebody I'm in love with, I'm going to give them a sense of freedom. Freedom doesn't mean they go out clubbing every night. That's not what I'm talking about.
Yeah, people miss that.
Because if you have a problem with that, you wouldn't be giving to that person. Right? If you have a problem with a person who go out clubbing every night, it's as simple as don't give to that person. Don't get into a relationship with that person.
But
once you choose to do that,
people do get in a relationship.
You do. But once you do that, let's say you did that and somebody woke up one day. That's a good point you just brought up. If somebody woke up one day and said, I lost myself, I need to start clubbing every night. And this is not what you bargained for. This is where the real test comes in.
Yes, absolutely.
Where people just show a side of them that you never saw. And how often does that happen? In every marriages. It happens.
Or they could decide and say, you know what? It could be your husband say, I've always wanted to act, but I forgot to.
Like a complete different direction of career, right?
Yeah.
That happens.
Your husband tells you, God called me. How many times have we had that? And
like,
the wife
is we got this $1 million business on this side, but God called me.
God called me. I have to be a what? No, I have to automatically be a first lady. Oh my God, we didn't discuss this. Things like that happen.
Let's do the real talk real quick. How often does that happen in every marriages that will happen in one shape, form, or the other.
Yes.
How come people just don't tell the truth about themselves before they get into marriage? They don't know
They don't know
themselves.
That
For the
is true.
first 10
They
years of
don't
the
know
marriage, they
themselves.
don't even know themselves.
Yes, facts.
This is terrible. People should take responsibility. You are absolutely right.
People
but this
are
is
still
not
growing.
But this is not a competition of being right. It's not a competition of who's going to be right first.
Right.
It's a competition of who's going to have love and connection, longevity, awesome love where you feel fulfilled. So to be clear, being in a relationship with a person who wants to go clubbing every night, when you have a problem with that, you're not going to feel fulfilled.
No.
Right? So it starts with one conversation. Babe, what's all this going clubbing every night? You plant that seed, you leave it alone. You nag about it, well, you're not going to get what you want because they're going to start building resentment. So much wisdom is going to be needed in getting what you want out of that relationship. But if you're patient enough, and it could be the woman against the husband too. If you're patient, how do you become patient enough? That will involve prayer,
Right.
time, right?
Yes.
Personal purpose, right? Self-development, right? Because this person will have no choice but to align with your energy. If you go there and try to control them and try to be God in their lives, that may backfire.
Yeah.
And everything I just said is easier said than done.
I mean, to what you just said, when I was younger, Yoruba people say, I know they probably still say, they say, Italo man lomo wale.
Yes.
You know,
It is.
if you're patient.
It is outside that will chase the baby back inside. All right, let me say it properly. The neighborhood or how do you say it? So basically, let me break it down.
Right.
If a child says
They want to go
he
out
or she wants to be out there and just be reckless,
All right.
what's it in English?
At some point, they will be exhausted.
I wanted to stress.
What's it outside,
what's it
baby? Outside.
So, but it doesn't
But
sound right
outside
in
world.
English. Yeah, the outside world will chase the baby back inside. There you go. The outside world.
They will live and
See,
learn.
the reality of life in the outside world, the responsibility of life will chase. They will come back in. There's also the proverb of the parable of the prodigal son in the Bible. That's a good example of that. But the prodigal son, how do you wait for that? That doesn't make sense. You hold people responsible and set boundaries. I know you're 100% correct. But I can guarantee I can put everything I own that's not going to work. The only thing that will work is work on yourself and attract what you deserve. Focus on attraction. And I know this topic we're talking about sexless marriage, but it's the same thing. If you take care of all of these other things, right? Sex will happen. Okay, unless there are other medical issues which will be beyond the scope of this
there's
session.
so many reasons why people are in sexless marriage. You know, some is health issues, like you said.
Yeah.
Some is childbirth, like knowing when to come back to having sex again. You know, just knowing your partner, at least being sensitive. Because a lot of men, another thing is they struggle. They struggle with when their wife is pregnant. They struggle with knowing how to be there for their wife.
Right.
You know, they have feelings. They want sex, but they can't get sex every time they need it. How do you cope with that? There's so many things you can do out there that can help you. You know?
So we're gonna move the rest of the conversation to the clubhouse.
Right. Oh my God.
And so I'm sure people will have lots of opinion on this topic. People will have experiences that they want to share.
Right.
People will have questions because again, there's no one session like this that can answer all the questions in the world. If you're experiencing a sexless marriage and that's not what you want, then you should do something about it. But a good first step can be come in the room on Clubhouse. I'll post that link on our storyline. If you're on Instagram, if you're not on Instagram, go find Lola and Ola on Instagram. I'll post that link on that place, and then we can take it from there. Yeah. So yes, hi L Nixon. Feel free to catch the. He said, "Hello guys. He's late." catch you guys next time. Yes, you can also catch the replay on the YouTube channel or on Facebook. Thank you so much, brother.
Thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna end that right here. We're gonna be back on Clubhouse in about 18 minutes, and then hear what everyone has to say. We're probably gonna have 10 people in the room that will be discussing this. 10 people 15, on a panel. Well,
it's always interesting.
It's always interesting because we can hear other people's take on it, and we always learn a lot from that. So again, go on the Instagram story, and I'll put the link. All you have to do is swipe up, and then it will take you inside. But the bad news is if you don't have iPhone, you won't be able to get inside of that. All right. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys on the next one, and peace.